Hello everyone, I am Atmini Tilakaratna, a student of South Dakota State University. Today I will be talking on the topic John V. Watson, also known as the father of behaviorism. This is the content I will be covering if you want to have a look. Psychologist John V. Watson is widely recognized as one of the pioneering figures in American psychology. He is often referred to as the father of behaviorism for his groundbreaking work in shifting psychology's focus from introspection to observable behavior. His influence extends far beyond the lab, impacting fields like education, advertising, child rearing, and even modern behavioral therapies. In this presentation, I'll be walking you through his early life, his major contributions to psychology, and the lasting impact of his work on how we understand human behavior today. John Watson was born on the 9th of January in 1878 in Travelers Rest, Greenville, South Carolina. When talking about his early life, it is important to note that he did not experience an ideal childhood. He grew up on a farm in South Carolina, living in poverty. His father, who was known to be an alcoholic, left his family when he was just a child. Even when it comes to education, Watson initially did not perform well as a student, but it changed when he entered Furman University and graduated with a master's degree after 5 years. Following this, he earned his PhD in psychology from the University of Chicago in 1903 and began his career in psychology at Johns Hopkins University in 1908, where he opened a research lab to conduct comparative and animal research. Moving on to Watson's marriage, his first wife was Mary I. Keyes, who was a daughter of a prestigious family. This marriage did not last long because he started an affair with one of his graduate students named Rosalie Rayner. Mary soon got to know about this affair and sued him for divorce in 1921. This scandal got publicized and therefore the university ordered Watson to end his relationship with Rayner. But Watson actually rejected this and resigned from his position at the university. So after that, his career went downhill quickly because he got blacklisted from his profession. This is when he joined the J. Walter Thompson advertising agency to earn a living. Still not deviating from his profession entirely, Watson applied his knowledge of psychology and behaviorism to advertising. Despite his professional break, he continued to publish books and magazines on behaviorism. During this era, he became a pop culture psychologist. Deep diving into Watson's family life more, he did not actually have a good relationship with his children. This is mainly because of his extreme ideas on child rearing, where he emphasized on treating children like adults. According to him, children should not be given much affection, hugs, or kisses, and just a simple handshake is enough because otherwise he believed that it would impede their independence. When going through his family life, it is evident that he applied these practices into raising his own children as well. So, due to this, his children have claimed they only have bitter memories of their childhood. The latter part of his life, it is documented that Watson isolated himself from everyone else and lived in a reclusive farm in Connecticut, where he spent his days raising animals. Watson has always been fond of animals, and it is said that he actually preferred the company of animals to that of humans. Watson died on the 25th of September 1958 at the age of 80. Now I'm going to talk about Watson's work and publications in the field of psychology. In 1913, he published the paper Psychology as a Behaviorist Views It, which focuses on studying psychology under exacting laboratory conditions similar to studying animal behavior. And in 1914, he published his first major work, Behavior, an Introduction to Comparative Psychology, where he supported the stance of using animals as research subjects. In 1919, He published Psychology from the Standpoint of a Behaviorist, which gained widespread recognition and received more acceptance than his previous work. And also, a great point to remember about Watson's behaviorism is that he took one of the most extreme standpoints of behaviorisms, namely methodological behaviorism. Here, the idea is that scientists should only study behaviors that can be explicitly observed because subjective behaviors such as thinking are too complex to study where they can be only assessed if they can be converted in a way that is directly measurable. And then one of Watson's most controversial as well as influential work is the Little Albert experiment, which I will talk about more in the next slide. Watson and Rayner conducted an experiment on a 9-month-old infant named Albert to show that fear could be learned. At first, Albert wasn't afraid of objects like a white rat or a rabbit, but then they paired the white rat with a loud, scary noise by banging a metal pipe behind him. After a few pairings, Albert began to cry just at the sight of the rat, even with no noise. This showed that fear could be conditioned just like other behaviors. This experiment received a lot of criticism due to several reasons. For one thing, critics argued that the experiment design was not carefully constructed because Watson and Rayner did not develop an objective way to assess Albert's reaction. Additionally, the experiment raised a number of ethical concerns. The psychological and physical distress of the child violates the code of ethics. Also, as the participant of this study was a minor, it raised questions about informed consent. As we discussed earlier, Watson's work also expanded onto parental practices. In terms of child rearing, Watson published the text Psychology, Care of Infant and Child, which gained popularity. In one of Watson's famous quotes was the quote that I have provided in the slide. This quote showcased his strong ideas of child rearing. Watson's influence is still present today, specifically when looking at modern psychological principles. Watson is known for popularizing behaviorism, which influenced modern approaches such as behavior modification and applied psychology. Also, despite the criticism on his Little Albert experiment, he showed how phobias could be learned through conditioning, which is still practiced today. His behavioristic principles also encouraged modern therapeutic techniques like systematic desensitization, which replaces a fearful response with a relaxing response, and exposure therapy, which involves directly confronting an individual with a fearful stimulus until the fear is reduced or completely disappeared. Um, So, as Watson took an extreme stance on behaviorism, you could have probably predicted that his theories might get modified or replaced. Challenging the limited focus of behaviorism, cognitive psychology emerged in the mid 20th century with the help of influential figures such as Piaget and Chomsky. But Watson's behaviorism did not entirely disappear with this new school of thought. Instead, a combined approach of these two schools emerged in therapy known as cognitive behavioral therapy, which is used today to treat a number of disorders such as depression, anxiety disorders, PTSD, and OCD. Also, quite different from the behavioral approach, emerged humanistic psychology that focuses more on personal growth and self actualization in terms of innate potential of individuals. Rogers' person-centered therapy as well as Maslow's hierarchy of needs replaced Watson's methodological behavior to some extent. Despite the controversy surrounding his work, John B. Watson left a powerful legacy in psychology. He shifted the focus from the mind to behavior and sparked key conversations about ethics, learning, and development. His contributions laid the groundwork for modern practices, and for that reason, his impact deserves lasting recognition. you.